For me, the best thing about Creative Computing Institute is the sense of community that we're creating. This is one of the few places in the world where you can see things from an arts perspective and also a science and technology perspective at the same time. And that means that together everyone is talking about something they can't really talk about anywhere else.
I studied at University of Arts London. I was like the techie person in like traditional design environments where maybe some of the things I needed or the spaces, the conversations I wanted to have did not exist. So when I knew that the CCI was being created, I was always trying to find ways on how I can get involved.
This is the first cohort of students in the program. I've been really impressed at how much they've taken the materials we've given them and made them their own.
Every time I come in the building, the students are just like chomping at the bit to show their work to people. I think it'll be a very, very good career for them.
So I'm showing my first project on the diploma. I thought it would be interesting to explore what if we could see in sound rather than light.
So I did the week-long machine learning course and the P5.js course with the CCI, and it's really helped me sort of develop my practice and teach me more of the development side of coding.
It's really changed my mind about like what computation is, what it means to the world, what it means like to society at large. In the course of a year, I've like really changed how I'm thinking about it.
We have a beautiful mission and a great social agenda, and we really want to positively impact the way tech works in society.
I think of computing as a craft exercise, like pottery or weaving. It's going to take you a long time to become a master of it, but the first steps should be approachable by anyone. And I think that's an important part of what we do here at CCI.
Hello everyone, and welcome to this open day session at the Creative Computing Institute. My name is Georgina Capdevila and I'm the Creative Learning Producer at the CCI. And I'm very excited because today we're here to look at the MSc in Creative Computing at the CCI, and we've got with us Phoenix Perry, who's the course leader of the MSc, and we are also lucky to hear from two current students at the course, Chris and Nan. So to give you a bit of an overview of how the session is structured, we're going to start by talking a little bit about the CCI, what spaces, facilities, and resources are available to CCI students. Then we'll have the chance to hear from Phoenix Perry about the approach and the units of the MSc in Creative Computing. And then we will jump straight into interviewing the students to hear a little bit more about their experience being part of the course. At the end of the session, we will have some time to go through your questions and comments. So we really encourage you to keep your thoughts and comments and questions that you might have about the course on the chat. Feel free to share their away, and we will do our best to cover everything in the end of the event. Just a note in terms of accessibility, Blackboard Collaborate, which is the platform that we're using today, doesn't display live captions. So just a note to say that this session is being recorded. So don't worry if you miss any detail. You can go through all the content once we upload this video on YouTube and we share it with you after the event. So yeah, don't worry if you miss any detail. You will have the chance to go through it all again. Yeah, so let's get this started. I'm going to start by playing a video that I pre-recorded in which I tell you all you need to know about the CCI, and hopefully will get you excited to join us as well. So see you in a bit.
Hi everyone! In this video we're going to show you around the campus and share some of the facilities and resources available to CCI students. The Creative Computing Institute is located at UAL's Peckham Road campus in Camberwell, South East London. The local area is home to a thriving art scene, which hosts a variety of art galleries and artist studios that students, graduates, and staff work and exhibit in. On site, there are two galleries, Camberwell Space and the Student Union Gallery, with the South London Gallery right next door and Peckham Platform in the local area. Also, on site we have an amazing library supported by a dedicated CCI librarian who oversees the subject area of creative computing, ensuring the library stays up to date with the books, periodicals, databases, and other resources you need to complete your studies. The CCI is located across the 4th and 5th floor of the newest building at Peckham Road, which means it's very accessible to students with various needs. Let's take a look around. The CCI is divided into 4 main areas. At the heart of the space is the kitchen. At lunchtime, it becomes a social hub of CCI for folks to share lunch together, and during classes, it's quite a working space. Along the side are 3 classrooms, 2 seminar rooms, and 1 high-end computer suite fitted with some of the latest technology, including 24 high-spec computers with NVIDIA RTX 2080 graphics cards and 4K monitors for working on projects ranging from machine learning to 3D rendering and video editing. Additionally, many of these computers can actually be accessed remotely from home after hours to enable access to specialist software or the high performance for rendering or machine learning work. In addition to the computing facilities, we have dedicated spaces set up for electronics, soldering, 3D printing, and virtual reality facilities. Elsewhere within the building, CCI students have access to the 3D workshop, which includes additional 3D printing facilities, laser cutting, CNC machining, and a full wood workshop. We take COVID-19 safety very seriously, so at the moment our spaces are reconfigured to enable students to spread out 2 meters apart. There's also loads of windows to ensure good ventilation and hand and surface sanitizer throughout the space to keep things clean, on top of regular visits from cleaning staff. In normal times, we also operate a laptop locker system where students can borrow a laptop to use within the CCI spaces. This is just a glimpse of the amazing resources and facilities that are going to be available for you while studying at CCI. Now, I would like to briefly talk about the CCI social mission and public program. At CCI, we aim to integrate computational thinking with approaches to fairness and equality for the UAL and wider community. This is formally codified through our social mission, which focuses on diversity in technology, digital inclusion, and entrepreneurship. Our public program is underpinned by this mission and connects students, practitioners, and researchers with an international community of creative computing professionals. The aim of the public program is to offer a platform where UAL students, staff, and industry people can explore creative technology through workshops, public events, intensive courses, and fellowships awarded to practitioners in the field. To give you a sense of what you have the chance to take part in while studying at CCI, here are some of the programs that we've run. CCI's inaugural fellowship in 2018 was awarded to Feminist Internet. We ran a series of workshops exploring the idea of a feminist Alexa. Our second fellowship was awarded to CreativeApplications.net, in which we delved into creative coding with custom LED displays and innovative ways to apply to new technologies. CCI awarded its third fellowship to artist and researcher Anna Riedler. Together, we ran a learning program called Artificial AI, where we explored some of the problematics embedded in datasets. In parallel, we run several week-long intensive courses open to all UAL students, which included inclusive design in wearable technology, designing a feminist chatbot, computational thinking with P5.js, machine learning for the creative industries, design with data and interactive machine learning, and the latest one we run, Querying Voice AI Transcendent Design. We also started the CCI After School Club, now renamed Tech Yard, a safe space aimed at young people, families, and beginners based in the local area in Peckham and Camberwell, who want to learn creative computing in a supportive environment. This is just a quick overview of all the opportunities that we've been able to provide to UAL and CCI students over the last 2 years. But there are so many exciting things that are on the way and that we cannot wait for you to take part in. Thanks so much for watching and listening. I hope you enjoyed what you just seen, and now let's keep moving.
Hi again, I hope you found that useful. So now we are going to hear from Phoenix Berry in a video that in which she has shared some of the most exciting things about the MSc, the approach, the units that the course entails. So I hope you enjoy hearing from her.
Hello, welcome to the MSc Creative Computing Open Day. I'm Phoenix Perry. I'm the course leader that runs this degree course. I am here to answer your questions tonight, and you will be hearing from some of our students as well. If you want to ask anything at any point along my introduction video here or in the interview, you can make sure to put your comments in the comments box on YouTube, in the chat box, and we will reply to you there. I'll do my best to multitask, and feel free to ask me anything like, what kind of jobs could I get after this? Why should I study here? I am available and here for that. I would like to tell you now a little bit about the MSc program. I particularly take an approach to creative computing and to teaching creative computing which emphasizes both critical thinking and creative making. During this course, not only will you learn to become an amazing programmer, you will learn the social implications of your code and its impacts in the world. That is one of the reasons to come to CCI beyond all of the other programs. This is not just a place where you learn art or design or coding or critical theory. You learn it all. That's what we're here for you to learn and think about. We hope to really push your conceptual development. If you're looking for a degree that will change how you think, this is the program for you. We also want to create people who go work in the field of creative AI, but understand the implications of the algorithms they work with. They understand how bias becomes encoded into algorithm. They understand the choices they make and the meaning that those choices will have maybe when your system gets 1 million, 2 million, 10 million, 15 million users, and how those ideas can think kind of beyond you, like they become entities into themselves. So if you're really interested in thinking about that kind of thing, this is the place for you. Also, good news, if you love creative code and you just want to have an amazing time making things, you are in the right place. This is my art studio. You get to see it tonight because we're in lockdown, pandemic, tier 2. And here you can kind of get a sense of who I am. I am a painter. I work with embroidery and e-textiles. I work with games. I make things that make people have to confront some of their deepest fears. And I do it in a way which is very soft and very gentle. I build giant immersive environments that take up big black box theaters, and I really believe in the power of creativity to shape the human imagination. So that is a little bit about the ideology going on here. Beyond that, the units just flat out rock. They're so fun. You get to learn about creative AI and machine learning. You get to build stuff with me in physical computing, where we play with all kinds of goodies, microcontrollers and fun e-textile stuff and sensors and motors, and think about robots, and it's a super good time. You get to write really interesting and beautiful algorithms with Dr. Mick Grierson and think about how to share that code with the community, and it's just a blast. Beyond that, you get to get challenged in my critical theory unit, where I will ask you some deep and poignant, sometimes difficult questions about the choices you're making in your thinking. That is what we do here. So you'll do a final project, which will be available to kind of see tonight, because this open day is on the same day as our graduate showcase. So proud of our students. I'm so proud of the work they've made. Please stick around after this and watch their talks. Participate here on YouTube. If you're interested in seeing the work, you can go to creativecomputing.cci.arts.co.uk. That's it. Welcome.
Hello again. Thanks, Phoenix, for this lovely video. So before we jump online with Chris, Nan, and Phoenix, I'm gonna now play a video about a project that was made by a team of artists, including Phoenix and the MSc students in collaboration. And this project is called Forest Daydream. And the work you're going to see in a second was actually part of the MSc's Advanced Environments unit. So I hope this gives you an idea of the exciting projects that you have the chance to be involved with as creative technologists. So we're gonna play this video, and right after that, we're gonna welcome Phoenix, Chris, and Nan to this space, and we can have a chat together.
We play as creatures in this world. We play to test our limits. We play to see how things fit. We often experiment in play and try things out in play that we wouldn't feel safe doing if the context was removed.
It's really an attitude with which you engage in the world.
By playing, you can create something new, or you experience something that you didn't expect.
Hello, I am Phoenix Perry, and I'm the course leader here on the Creative Computing degree at the Creative Computing Institute. This is a project called Forest Daydream, which is the third iteration of a project that I've been working on for several years with many different collaborators. It is a long-term research agenda that I've had to look at social play in groups and collaboration in groups. So the project itself involves a couple of pieces. There is a small forest, which looks like a low poly video game forest, and a small hut, which looks like a low poly video game hut. My thinking behind that is that we spend a lot of time in virtual natural environments when we live in cities. So pulling where we actually end up going back out into the real world and looking at it as an object. So that's why it looks the way it does and the kind of architecture it has. Beyond that, each piece is interactive, and then there are games which play out amongst the pieces, and they require multiple people to play. So something will be happening over here, and then you'll need a response to it over here. So there's no way to play it on your own, so you have to ask for help and ask for cooperation, which is one of the underlying philosophical points I'm trying to make in the game, is that you can't do things on your own, you need to do them in groups. We have this class here that I'm leading right now on environmental computing and spatial computing. They are working with me on this project in an attempt to get experience working with a gallery, with a large-scale institution like Wellcome Collection. So it's part of the pedagogical process of getting them from point A to point B, of being ready and able to work with the public and knowing what that looks like. Then from there, they're going to proceed to doing full-scale works all on their own in public spaces.
Personally, I was rather focused on the programming of the microcontrollers. All the different parts have to interact with each other, have to talk with each other. So every button press has to be signaled somewhere else, and all the different parts have to be coordinated into one single game.
You've got sounds going on and lighting and all these physical models. So these really create an environment. I hope people coming would feel relaxed.
I worked on the soldering and the wiring, and I also helped with the construction of the dome and the trees. You are not designed for yourself, so you need to study how others behave and interact.
My name's Ben Kelly. My role in Forest Daydream, it was almost like a sound supervisor role to create an immersive soundscapes which evoke the rainforest, and also music composition. Los Bosquecinos is an ongoing project with the Wampi, the indigenous community who live near the Ecuadorian border of the Amazonas rainforest. I spent some time with them 2 years ago and developed an ongoing relationship as an artist to help with their government, to help deforestation and indigenous land rights. The sound recordings, the soundscapes are very immersive, as again a hyper reality, to try and aim to trigger this emotional feeling, this primal feeling of interconnectivity with nature. I hope it stimulates audience members to ask themselves questions of their own role within the social ecological system.
We need outlets for social collaboration and communication as adults, and we don't get them enough. And we really have to think about how play sits in a modern society in new ways.
Hello again. Okay, so let's get this started now. I would like to invite Phoenix, Nan, and Chris to this virtual space. If you want to turn your cameras and mics on, we would love to hear from you. And yeah, I guess at this point, I will just leave it to you, Phoenix.
Hey, hello everybody. Welcome to the CCI Open Day. You've already had me do that in the video, but this part of the session, I am going to interview / chat with two of our current students. We're going to talk about their experiences on the course, some things they've learned, some things they've made, and their experience being online this term. All right, let's go ahead and kick it off. To start with, I think that what I'm going to do is just ask Nan and Chris to tell me a little bit about what their experiences of CCI have been, and I'm going to start with Nan, if that's okay, and then move to Chris.
Sure. So before I came to CCI, I expect like I will learn a lot of programming stuff and maybe some fancy machine learning, and it's actually beyond my expectations. We are not only learning the physical computing, like the soldering and wiring stuff we saw in the video, and also the creative coding in a very structured way. More importantly is the critical study. And I really appreciate we have a class called critical study, which we discuss topics between art, science, neuroscience, artificial intelligence, and like related ethical issues. And it's actually broadened my mind and cultivate my critical thinking, and which make me rethink like what I am making and what I want to make in the future. Yeah, and then for now I quite enjoy, and I know it's a very challenging time because of COVID-19 and we did a lot of online study, but we have a very supportive team on the Slack, and everyone is very like help each other and be kind. And Chris?
Yeah, definitely agree with how supportive the online learning has been. I mean, I personally find it a little bit difficult to concentrate being stuck in the same room every day, but the amazing stuff we're learning is definitely keeping me engaged. I almost missed this meeting because I was so lost in GLSL. But yeah, some things that have taken me by surprise. I did a piece of creative writing the other week, which is something I'd never really done before, and I actually really enjoyed it. Definitely not something I expected when joining this course. And yeah, I think that's been my takeaway so far, is just being full of surprises. Even though I knew what was in the course coming into it, every week a new surprise, which is amazing.
That's awesome. Thank you to you both so much. It's delightful for me to hear your experiences, given I worked so hard to create what I think is a extremely challenging critical theory unit. And I have surprised myself. I never thought I'd ask you to write a piece of creative fiction, but that's what we do with technologies we make. We dream worlds, and some of the the smallest choices I've made in my career as a professional designer and technologist have ended up becoming industry standard things. Just little things like, I think I'm going to put this button down here. And next thing you know, it becomes part of a larger design pattern. And especially when you work at companies that are changing how we communicate online, that thinking is an act of creative fiction. And I think it's important for us to think through how that plays out in a world, in the world we want to live in, and in the world we want to create in and be part of. So thank you both for sharing. That is unbelievable. Now we're to the fun part. I would like to start with Chris for this one and then go to Nan. Tell me something you've made.
I've made a collection of analog synthesizers, and that was definitely not something I expected to do. None of them sound amazing, but I've been having so much fun with it. That springs to mind. It's right next to me on the desk, so I can show it. It doesn't want to come over. Yeah, I've done a lot of coding in Java as well with Mick, which actually something I had no experience with beforehand, but it's a little bit easier than C#, so I picked it up quite quickly. Yeah, just making something every week really. It's hard to pick one, but I think the analog synths have been my favourite so far.
I want to see them so bad. Can you kind of unplug them and show them? Because I'm just.
Chris
and
I think this is actually the it's all on the spreadsheet.
Wow.
This was actually a different labs. This wouldn't make sound. This is one of the logic things we were doing the other day. But there are chips for audio synthesis in there because I tried to mix the two together, but it didn't work very well.
It's probably wrong resistor values or incompatible timing or who knows.
Probably. I'll figure it out by Tuesday.
It's so fun. Yeah, I'm positive it will amaze me by Tuesday. Nan, what's something that you've made that you've particularly enjoyed working on?
Yes, I was just looking up about the mix homework. For PCOM, I did a lot of projects week by week, and one I want to mention is like in 1 week, we try to create a set of like sleeping ritual products to help you to go to sleep easily, and to use some simple tangible interactions to help people have a sense of ritual and to cultivate their sleeping mood. So for example, you can twist and push to smell, and hand a ring to listen to the wind sounds, and also pour over a handle and to see the light dims, and so that you know, oh, it's time to sleep. And on the other hand, for the creative coding, and I really enjoyed mixed class and did a lot of beautiful things. And I'm trying to see how can I push show you guys my homework. And maybe later I will put the link on it. Basically, I did from one-dimensional music synthesizing and to that we are learning Three.js, WebGL, shader stuff. And it's really challenging but interesting. Yeah.
Oh, Nan, just screen share. If you'd like, if you feel brave enough. I've seen Mick is sneaky Mick. He loves some of your homework. He shared it with me already on Slack. He's like, look at this thing, Nan made it so cool.
Yes, let me see if I can screen share.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if it works because last time it didn't work at your physical computing class.
We'll see.
Oh no.
We'll see.
Let me just post the link.
Cool. Oh wow, we can all look at it. I'm curious which one it is, if it's one I've seen or not. Oh, it is one I have not seen. Oh my, wow. Okay. Yeah. Jeez.
And also some 3G stuff, and I posted on the UALCCI's GitHub, and I will find it where it is now and to show you guys.
Wow, this is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Mick has not shown me that one, which I'm sad about. I'm super excited to go through your portfolio on Mimic. I will look at it for sure.
And I think this one is the 3JS one. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
And I
This
also
is so
have
pretty.
fun. Thank you. Have fun with creating particles and the fireflies. Interact with the objects. Yeah.
Oh, wow. The shaders on this are really nice.
Actually, it's not shader. I hand coded the materials and textures on it.
Oh my. Wow.
Because I don't know. I don't know what's shader. I'm still learning it.
Well, it's okay. You went about it the most amazing way. This is fantastic and gives me so much faith in like Mick being both an awesome human being and an amazing creative coding instructor. The students loved him last year as well, and it's been really delightful to see him teach this stuff because he's a professor, like he's very senior, and I was like, wow, what will it be like for Mick to teach creative coding? What will it look like? What will the students make? And the work has just been unbelievably awesome. So I love that he's got a very like you have to work. Anything Mick wants you to do is going to be work. But like the amount you learn is really worth it. So I love it. I'm one of Mick's students myself because he's my PhD supervisor for my doctorate. And he is not easy. So hats off to you two for doing so well in his coding class because he is, you know, he makes you work, but clearly if you work, you get the results, and it's so beautiful to see. This is great. So that is delightful. So, and now I'm going to ask you about some things about your experience at CCI. How are you finding it? And I'll start with Nan this time first, and then Chris.
Thank you. So how I find CCI is I search on UAL and I search like what kind of area I want to join in. And for me, I have an interactive media arts background, a bit of computer science background, and I worked as a user experience designer before. And when I was working, I was actually in the AI field. We did a lot of voice assistant and machine learning stuff, but I did the design for them, not the coding part. And for me, I want to extend my knowledge on it, and I really want to make or design something myself. And that's my mission. And I found CCI, and it's like, wow, it's exactly what I want. And I want to challenge myself to be here. So here I am.
Amazing. Yeah. Chris, how are you finding it? How's it going?
I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. My background is slightly different to Nan's. It's in audio engineering and music production. My career goal originally was to work in video game sounds, and I started teaching myself coding during my undergraduate degree, which sort of led me here. And the more I got into coding, the more I thought, surely there must be more to it than just doing sound design for video games. And I think every week that goes past, I'm learning something new and still trying to make sound every week with something that I do. I think that's not going to change. But yeah, it's I came here to formalize my coding. I think I was similar to being a self-taught musician. I think I picked up some bad practices, and Mick is definitely ironing those out. Yeah, not really sure what else to add to that. Yeah, here to keep developing my coding in a sort of more professional environment and learning marketable skills in a fun and creative way. I think that's my favorite thing about creative computing is this is all really useful and marketable, but it's also really fun.
Yeah, I'm loving seeing the work, and like Mimic is so for those who are joining us today, Mimic is a platform that Mick and his researchers and his research team have built to make it really easy to share and to write creative coding with other people online. It's a fantastic repo because it's like a collection of examples of interesting projects made with Mimic. And it also lets you just like really rapidly add libraries, and I really love Mimic. I think it's a fantastic project, and it's really good to see how well it's worked during the pandemic. I feel like he was prescient on some level in making it, because when the pandemic had happened, he already had a way to collaborate with code with students in real time, rolled out and ready to go. And I thought that was so awesome. And it's been a real delight to see how much smoother this year has gone than, say, if I was teaching in something like just vanilla open frameworks or vanilla processing. I think it would have been really hard to pull off an open frameworks class this way. But JavaScript is born for this. It's almost like the perfect language for being in this environment. Mick also teaches some C++ later on that you'll be learning. You're going to get Python from me in a crash course to basically today, tomorrow when I record it, and next week in PComp. So be prepared for Python crash course, which should be really fun and wonderful. So it has been, oh, Georgina, thanks for sharing info about Mimic. So it's been really lovely. So now I thought I'd just ask how you're doing a little bit with the pandemic. How's it been with your first semester being this blended learning contraption? I'll start with Chris.
It's been interesting. Definitely smoother than the end of my undergraduate during the first stages of the pandemic. That was a bit of a disaster. But yeah, it's been going really smoothly. I'm getting a bit of cabin fever, getting stuck at home, but I'm glad the second lockdown's over. Yeah, the online learning's been helpful. I had to learn some Java to deal with the Mimic stuff, but it is, like I said, it's a bit easier than what I'd learned before, which was all C# and C++ stuff. Ooh, have I frozen?
No, you're good.
Okay, good. Cool.
You're good. You're totally good. Sometimes Blackboard just does that. It's okay.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I think it's going about as smooth as it can possibly go, but I cannot wait to engage properly with people in real life.
You have no idea. I'm so there with you. I miss just being able to find a weird idea on Monday and walk in Tuesday and be like, hey, look at this crazy thing I built. Here's how I made it. Because you can't do that with remote teaching. I have to prepare everything well in advance. Like, everything's got to be like structured and highly organized, which has been really fun. But also, I miss just the impromptu Wild West of someone asking me an idea like, hey, I really want to know how to build X, and then on the patch, like on the fly in front of everybody being like, here's how you build X. So I'm excited to come back to you. I think we all are. I really, it's been a delight to kind of get to know everybody, because I feel like the pandemic has done a service to some of the students who maybe I'm seeing, like, you know, really good engagement with the videos, like, and I'm seeing really strong engagement with the lectures, and I think that people are really enjoying going back and being able to rewatch them and pause them. And I think I want to keep the lectures for the MSc online in the foreseeable future, and it's just so much easier when, like, you don't have to frantically take notes in a class. So I think that's been a giant win. So Nan, how about you? How are you finding? Oh,
especially for mixed module. Sorry, that's especially for mixed module. I've watched some of those videos about 3 times before I finally got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice. I've seen the uptick on understanding programming, I think, this term from last, or this year from last. I think it's because the video content has been so helpful for the students, particularly in the coding modules where they're really dense. Nan, how about you?
Yes. So I just want to add that for me, the recorded video is really important and really helpful. So I can pause and review the videos over and over again at my own pace, especially I'm not a non-native speaker. And sometimes I just need to pause a little bit and to watch again. And also I find it really helpful because even in this pandemic, we still have a chance to go to school and study. As long as we book a time slot in advance, so that I can get used to the physical computing stuff at the campus. And also the library itself is really helpful. So the Make It So and another fiction and UX book Phoenix you have recommended, I actually checked them out from the UAL library, and I also found it really helpful. So overall, although it's challenging, like we can't go to school like as we want, but I still get a lot of support.
Yeah, our library support team staff is just seriously next level amazing. I'll ask her for a book on Tuesday. She'll have it in digital format by Thursday. It's just, I've never seen anything like it, and I'm really grateful for our library. She's very knowledgeable, and our librarian is very dedicated. So yeah, it's great. I love her. So there's a question on the Slack, and now if you have questions, I'd love to let you either chime in with your mic or type them in the chat. If you can't find the chat box, it's the purple tab at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. If you click on that, a drawer will slide out and you'll see it. So the student, Celine asked, for the students, how have you found managing the course alongside projects and work?
I wonder if this question is for me because I worked before, but now I'm a full-time student, so it doesn't, like this problem doesn't even exist. Like I'm fully engaged with the coursework now. I hope I answer your question.
And I've been self-employed for a while, so I've been carrying on some audio engineering clients and stuff on the side. But yeah, I'm trying to engage full-time with this, so I put some of that on the back burner a little bit. But in terms of other projects, I'm trying to use the knowledge I've found on the course to incorporate into them. So I don't think any other creative projects definitely aren't being hurt by this, but I have had to take on less work because the course demands a lot of time. And it's worth it.
Yeah, I was in the same boat. I worked in my master's degree, and it was a lot. I was a creative director, and like, wow, so tired. But my job gave me some affordance and let me leave early. Every day I had classes, so I got the afternoon off. So if you're interested in this degree, there's like so much value for employers that they may give you time. I would encourage you to talk to your employer to say like, hey, I'm really interested in this. Because mine was really supportive of me doing further education. And I think you'll find quite a lot of employers are excited to hear you say, I'm learning development skills. So I encourage that conversation. The other thing is, there are two others. What is the timeline and process for applications and interviews after submitting an application through the UAL portal? It depends. We have a new program director in place this year, so she is fantastic, and I'm sure she's going to put in a new process, so I don't want to speak to it, but it's pretty good. If you run into any problems, there's an email address that Georgina is going to now type in the chat that I always forget. It's like hello@cci.arts.ac.uk or something quite like that, that you can email and somebody can follow up on it. So UAL is generally pretty good about getting back to people. cci@arts.ac.uk. What is wrong with me? Of course it is. All right, wonderful. So the next one is, what is the impact of CCI being part of a larger art school? Is there interaction with students in other departments? Well, this is really where the diploma comes in. So the diploma, which is one of the courses at CCI, is all students from across UAL. So you have a chance to interact with them. You'll see them at events. You can chat with them in the cafe. You'll see them using the same resources you're using, and they're around. That said, you know, there's also a ton of resources at CCI, and if you let me know, or outside CCI, and if there's not a pandemic on, and you let me know that you're interested in a resource, I can attempt to see what is possible there. All of the colleges across UAL is not an open campus in the way that, like, if you have attended school in Holland, for example. Often Holland, the school I went to I taught at in Holland had an open campus, and all the resources were available across all the schools. It's not the case here. So we do have to have a conversation with whoever is in charge of those resources and ask if there's bandwidth. But so far, Camberwell has accommodated CCI every time I've asked, and they've been so wonderful. And our technical team has liaised with the Camberwell technical team to make things like laser cutters and CNCing and 3D printing resources. We now have all the 3D printing in-house, and it looks like we might be possibly getting our own laser cutter. But the laser cutter downstairs, they've been nice enough to let us use, and I hope that answers your question. Let's see. Could you talk a bit about the career opportunities afterwards and where have past students gone after graduating MSc? Sure. That's actually just starting to happen. So I kind of am getting a sense of what everybody's doing. So Eileen went ahead. She's doing her PhD in architecture, which is fantastic. Stu got a really exciting job doing, I think it's radio communication, broadcast hacking. I'm not quite sure what Stu's doing, but it involves space and it sounds very exciting. He told me the details about it a couple months ago. Then we also have another student. Stu was really into physical computing, by the way. We had another student. She's gone to work on games and AR for children. She's super rad. Lan. Then we have, what other jobs do I know about so far? I think that, I mean, Mark never stopped working, but Mark was a dev all the way through, so he kept some freelance work on the side. I am not actually sure what else there is, but those are a few good examples that I can think of that I know about. And like I said, it's literally, they graduate today. So there's that, and it's the first cohort. So hopefully that answers the question. You can expect to go work in, like if you're interested, like Stu did, he went and worked on a project which just kind of marries his hardware and his programming abilities into a really interesting thing. There's a lot of space for games and play in the CCI. You can go work on games for kids. You can do PhDs in architecture after, if that's your interest. Like, there's a lot of space to kind of grow and stretch. You could become a JavaScript developer if you're really interested in doing that. You could go work as a creative technologist, Wieden Kennedy. You could end up working for a sustainability company, being their technologist and advising them on how to choose technology that was most sustainable and being part of an eco-friendly revolution. There's so many things you could do. I hope that makes sense. Cool. Could we please have some insight into each module? Sure. Term one is creative computing, in which they've been using JavaScript to learn low-level coding. So one of the things that Mick was really impressed with you on is that you coded, with no libraries, you coded some base, like really complex graphics on your own, and you used nothing but geometry. And that was really cool to see. There's PComp, where we use physical computing stuff. So like, for example, right before this, this is a microcontroller, which has it's packed full of sensors. There's so many sensors on this little thing. The camera's probably going to blur out for a second, but it'll be worth it. And this week, everybody is learning how to read the data from this sensor. And the best thing about the sensor is that you can connect it to a phone or a desktop application, and BT Dubs just got that working. That's what I was doing while we were waiting for the call to start. And then you can build IoT stuff out in the world. So that's PComp. I also have a heart rate monitor, like a Polar commercial heart rate monitor, that I'm going to show folks how to hook up in case you're interested in like biosignal stuff. The thing with these is they're extremely accurate. Like, you'll get pretty accurate stuff with a watch. I think I'm really excited to try the new iWatch. Actually, might be my Christmas gift to myself. But if you want really accurate heart rate, the chest is still the #1 place to go to for all the obvious reasons. And then there's critical studies, and in the critical studies unit, we've read pieces by so many writers at this point. We read, oh my God, somebody help me, my brain is on freeze mode. I wrote the class and now my mind is drawing. I'm really bad with names and like remembering things on the fly like this. We're reading Critical Fabulations by Daniela Rosner over Christmas. We've looked at, I'm going to attempt to say it, Chicks. I said Chicks Mill High is how I say it, but I've got it wrong. There's another syllabus in there, but we're looking at his son has an amazing academic practice as well, and he's come up with this area of research called HCI4D, which is about looking at technology in social and ethical communication situations. We're going to be looking at that. We've worked by Bruce Sterling. We've read work by William Gibson. We've read work by Sheesh Johnstone, who's a neuroscientist. There's been so many essays. We've read material engagement theories. We've read about HCI. We've read about so much. We've read probably 20-some papers since the start of critical theory, which is hard to even think about, but it's been a really intense, exciting unit. Let's see. And that's term 1. Term 2 is not physical computing, it's creative coding 2, machine learning for creative practice. Then the advanced computational environments class, which you saw the first part of that class's output, which was Forest Daydream. The second part had to pivot really hard because guess what? We couldn't build a public installation anymore because that is the goal of that class. We had to really rethink about how we were going to create group collaboration. And of course, we had to do it online. So unexpectedly, we had to learn a lot about how to build servers and create group experiences. So I hope that makes sense. Then there's a capstone final project where 60 credits where you get a chance to work in depth with one of the academics you choose at CCI. You could also work on a research project if they have open funding or an open call. And you get to build either a piece of research that is in collaboration or something of your own, and that's your capstone graduation project. And then we have a graduating show, and if you're interested in what that looks like, stick around because that happens at 6. So okay, so that's that question. Let's see. What do I expect to see? So what we expect to see in a portfolio, and I'm hoping to get a portfolio review panel going this year. We'll see how it goes. But I'm looking for someone who is thinking about why they're making what they're making. I'm particularly interested in people who come from a design background who want to learn to code, or people who know to code and want to learn design, or people from an art background who want to learn to code for their creative practice and vice versa. Those are the kinds of creators that I'm particularly looking for. People who have an interest in being interdisciplinary or working within the digital space. I'm also extremely interested in people looking at the human rights and AI. So if you want to learn a lot about AI, like how to implement it and how to create with it, and you're interested in human rights, this is a space where I think you would find a home. Let's see. Preparing portfolio statements and personal statements. I care most about what you say about why you're doing what you're doing. So I'm very interested in why you want to study. Telling me a little bit about yourself, but telling me what you hope the change and the impact you want to have in the world is always a good way to get my attention. What do the projects in CCI courses trying to solve the practical challenge to go through their project? Otherwise, no, sometimes the projects are not just for art expression. Sometimes the projects are really tactical. So one of the things that we're going to be doing in critical theory, spoilers alert for coming weeks for the HCI4D exercise, I'm going to ask people to reconsider the 1 laptop per child program and look at it from a post-colonial standpoint and think about how it could be redesigned or re-implemented in a way that might be a bit more just and have a look, what were its pros, what were its cons, how would you solve that problem if you were going to solve that problem. Cool, let's see. And also one of the things I really do hope to do, and we'll see how it goes post-pandemic, is set up relationships with nonprofits and charity organizations to see if students can impact positive change within those environments. Let's see. Dun, dun, dun. Cool. Are there any other questions? So many questions I've answered. Anyone? Oh, just a thank you. All right. This has been a really wonderful session. At this point, we're only 5 minutes left, so I'm going to hand it back to Georgina to wrap up. But I personally want to say thank you to Chris and Nan for coming and doing this. So thank you so much. All right, Georgina?
Amazing. Thanks everyone for joining us today. Yeah, my last few words would be just to really encourage you to sign up to tonight's event. We're going to present all the final projects that MSc in Creative Computing students develop throughout the year. So yeah, I just pasted the Eventbrite link on the chat, so please join us tonight. And yes, this is the last Open Day session that we're actually running at the Creative Computing Institute. There's going to be another season of Open Days coming up early next year. So please keep an eye on our social media. We are on UAL_CCI, so we just share all the news in there. And yeah, in the meantime, yeah, hopefully see you tonight. Otherwise, we'll see you very soon on the internet or in real life. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining us, and thanks Phoenix, Chris, and Nan for sharing your experience today. Thanks everyone.